As the CEO of Du, the UAE's second telecoms operator, my guest today's current mantra is visionary. Broadband everywhere. That means you should have broadband access to your information from any device, wherever you are, whether it's music, video, news content, or data. But how close is our guest to realizing this dream? How is Du faring against entrenched competition in other areas? And is the newly competitive market in telecoms bringing real choice and benefits to the consumer? Osman Sultan from Du, a very warm welcome to Face to Face.
Thank you very much. I'm really delighted to be here.
Pardon my ignorance, but I would have thought that trying to launch a telecoms operator based on selling mobile was a little bit difficult. Do you think you've started with the right product?
Well, actually, I think that we started with the product with the highest exposure and highest expectations. Whether we like it or not, today, mobile products are the fastest growing, or mobile services are the fastest growing in the telecom industry. Coming to the UAE telecom market as a new player and being licensed to offer the full range of telecom services, mobile, fixed telephony, broadband, TV, it was clear that the expectations within this market was all focused on mobile, whether we're talking, the media, the questions I was having all the time, specifically when you consider that we entered one of, if not the most penetrated market. It's unprecedented. I mean, in the world, you never saw a second player entering with this level of penetration of telecom services. So this made it really a unique equation for us to solve. And specifically that there is no magic recipe. Guess what? Everybody was asking, okay, what is your secret? What are you going to do? And I was always saying, but if there was a magic recipe, people would know it. Experts would just know what to do, and I would. It's really a combination of things. It's a positioning. It's, entering with and positioning yourself on the entire value chain. So, yes, we had to start with the mobile. We had to show growth in the mobile. We had to build a strong headline, and we did. And, luckily we were very successful in doing this. But, of course, this is just the beginning of the journey.
Absolutely. But just to dwell on it for a second, I don't want to take up too much of the show talking about this, because we want to really talk about the future. But, of course, Etisalat have been around for a very long time, actually offer a pretty good service, and you seem to be in a market now where you can, of course, come up with all sorts of brilliant world-beating ideas to leap ahead of them, but equally they can go to the TRA and get approval for a kind of looky-likey kind of product. So the beneficiary becomes, I suppose, the consumer, and that's a good thing, I suppose, about free market economics, but I feel a little bit sorry for you sometimes.
Well, I mean, I would be tempted to say, welcome to competition. That's great, and consumers are really benefiting from a very strong and sometimes aggressive dynamic momentum by the two companies to offer the best, because that's the name of the game. Now, whether we would have liked maybe to have some more protection or, when we enter such penetrated market, I don't think so. I think this is a wrong practice. I think the best way and the best protection you can have is be better, is trying to meet your customers' need better. I mean, I know that it's easier to say, and it's easier for me to state it, just in front of you, than to do it in the day-to-day life, and then to ensure that the 1,900 young, talented, young women and young men that we have working have this as their culture, have this as their mantra, to use a word that you used kindly in your introduction. That's a different thing, and that's what we're trying to do every day.
Let's talk about the mantra, broadband everywhere.
Yes.
It's a very laudable kind of idea, and I know I get very frustrated even when I'm in first world cities like London, with my BlackBerry or my iPod Touch, which these days has got, of course, internet access, but only insofar as I can access some wireless, and there has to be open architecture because DNS can be a little bit of an issue, can't it? Do you think we can get into a position here in the Emirates where we can be world leading?
Well, I think that if there is something that we have learned, all of us, from the Emirates, is that we shouldn't be afraid to lead in things where usually this part of the world just is used to just think that we will just follow, that more advanced markets will just lead and then we can follow. I think I've learned since I've come here that we shouldn't be afraid to really claim to lead, but of course you have to do what it takes to make it happen. The idea of broadband everywhere actually is simple. The telecommunication, not only services, but the impact of telecommunication is changing. It's changing our lives. I mean, if you and me, we look at our children or we look at the young generation, believe me, they are using whatever. They are using their phones, they're using their SMS, they're using to access their entertainment in a completely different manner. We ourselves, 3 years back, we weren't so, relying on any mobile device we have to access our internet. We used to access our internet at home, in the office, and that's it. Now more and more, the conversions of our universes, the different universe we live in, is happening, is a reality.
Well, I want to talk about convergence, of course, in terms of devices, because by the same token, a few years ago, people would happily separate their mobile phone from their music player, perhaps their iPod, from their camera.
From their laptop.
From their laptop.
From their computer, absolutely.
But is convergence a reality? Is it coming? Can you see a completely converged world?
Well, first of all, conversion is used very often as a buzzword. And the confusing thing is that it is used at different levels. I think it's interesting that we just try to... You mentioned very rightly the conversions at the level of the device. It's true. I am using now my laptop to do things I used to do on my TV. I just watch when I'm on the move in an airport. I watch a film, I watch a DVD on my laptop. It's very convenient. I really enjoy it. People are using their mobile phone as, a substitute to their music player, whatever it was, the Walkman, etc., because more and more phones are being marketed as MP3 players or as cameras, etc., very sophisticated cameras. So you see, mobile devices are either now marketed as entertainment devices, cameras and music players, or as little laptops, because they allow, if they are for business purposes. You see now this, these two trends very strongly emerging. So what's happening, the conversions at the level of the device, it's happening. The conversions at the level of our environments. We do things when we are on the move. We do things when we are by the pool with our family that we used to do in our office, that we used to do only at home, sitting on a desk, sitting on our desk. That's changing. We do things that we used to do in meeting rooms now more and more when we are at home, when we are during the weekend. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing in terms of the time and the focus that we're giving to other things, that's different. That's a social discussion, and I'll be more than happy to discuss that. But this infringement of our business life and our day-to-day life and our family life, this is a reality as well. I mean, with devices like BlackBerry or push email devices, your work is everywhere. Right. You're taking it with you.
Absolutely.
So that is a reality. The conversions of the industries. You see people that used to be telecom players that are now acquiring, companies that used to be in the content world. You see companies that used to be in the entertainment world that are coming to the software world, etc. So the conversions between different universe or words that used to be separate. So it is happening. And I believe the end of the game, we said broadband everywhere, but still broadband is a kind of technical word. For a consumer, it means everything everywhere. I am taking with me, any place I go, everything I want. I am carrying with me my office. I'm carrying with me my entire working files, I'm carrying with me my workload, I'm carrying with me my entertainment, I'm carrying with me my bank, I'm carrying with me my supermarket, I'm carrying with me maybe school, my learning. Everything is I'm carrying all my universe with me everywhere. That should be even, you know, the mantra from a consumer point of view.
All right.
To translate this broadband everywhere.
All right. Well, look, I want to talk to you a little bit about where all the content is going to come from.
Yes.
And, you know, where, if you will be part of providing content, Osman Sultan Abdu, after we take this short break. Don't go away.